So first of all, congratulations on the film. I enjoyed watching it. It's a really well-done thriller.
Thank you very much.
James is an interesting character. From the very first time we see him, he's giving a lecture to the tourists and he gets your attention. So was this one of the biggest appeals of the project for you?
No, I would say that the first thing that really intrigued me about this and fascinated and I was curious about was that thing, that whole relationship between James and Berenice, that whole dynamic that I sort of feel actually hold the whole story together. Their sort of thing is like the glue of it, and I thought it had a very interesting dynamic that was what firstly sort of got my attention when I read it. I was like, what the fuck is this? What's going on with these two? And I thought that there are some really cool scenes with me and Elizabeth. That when I read them, I was like, I just want to do this. I want to do these scenes because this is really good fun. They have all these. It's almost like a banter, some of it, isn't it? But it's really. It has a lot of layers, and I thought it would be fun to play with. So that's the first thing that sort of.
Given the fact that he had this film, as well as the character, has so many different layers, did you have a different approach to playing him, or what was your preparation for this?
The thing with the character, I always look for something that I can identify with or relate to, so I can slip into it like that, and then you can start to sort of discover stuff in there. But the thing that I sort of identified the most with and related the most to at the beginning is he's very ambitious, he's very ambition-driven. He's got this sort of insane vanity to sort of restore his name that he's fallen out of favour. And the ambition of it I can totally relate to. I'm super ambitious. When I take on a project like this, I want to do my fucking best. I want to be my absolute best. So that was sort of the starting point of it, and then obviously stuff happens that I hope that I will not be driven there by my ambition, but that's sort of where it started, yeah.
He's a morally dubious character, but do you feel he's a villain?
Well, that's an interesting question, because I'm not actually. Well, overall, when the whole story is over, you probably would say that's the villain of the story. But at the beginning of it, I don't in any way sort of see him as a villain. I don't think he would say that himself either if you asked him. I think he has these dubious morals but I don't think that he actually knows at the beginning of the story that he will be driven to do what he actually ends up doing.
I couldn't help but notice similarities between this role and the characters you have played in the past. Can you talk about these parallels?
Yes, obviously it's set in the art world, and there's a thing that in the square, for instance, that guy loses his job in a big museum at the end of the story. So this guy has lost his job in a big museum before this film starts. So it could sort of be the continued story, but I think I don't think that the guy from the square could have been driven to do what this one does. I see him having, he's got a moral compass that is slightly not so off as this one.
You're sharing the screen with two legends, Mick Jagger as well as Sutherland. So can you talk a bit about working with them?
Well, obviously before they came onto set, I was starstruck on beforehand in a way. I was like, probably, whoa, what's going to happen when these legends come on set? But this is a very boring answer, but on the day, you work with the actor that's in front of you, or the actors that are in front of you, and you don't for a second think, oh my lord, it's Mick Jagger. I think if I did, I would be in trouble. You need to just be there on the day with the people that you're working with. So, but I think, obviously, so it's not so much about them being who they are, it's so much more how much fun it was to work with them, because they were really, really amazing to work with, and the pleasure of working with people that are that humble and open and just, as myself, hopefully, just want to make the most of this story and the scene on the day. And so it was an absolute pleasure working with them. And also, I so enjoyed working with Debicki also, even if she's not yet as big a legend.
I hear Giuseppe has a very unique directing style. Can you talk about that?
Well, it's like you don't actually it's like he sort of pulls stuff out of you and you don't even know it happens. It's like he's very, very calm, cool, relaxed. He's always rolling his little cigarette. It's almost as if he's always on the way out to sort of smoke that little cigarette that he's rolling. But still somehow he plants something in you for the next take that sort of... So he has a very sort of subtle way, and other directors are like, really, now we want this, you have to try that, do that. And he's so much more, I'm not really sure what the right word is for it, but he sneaks it in there somewhere.
James is an art critic, and he's asked in the movie if he could interview any living artist. So I have to ask you, if you could sit down and interview any living actor or director, who would it be?
Well, I've so many times been asked if there's someone I really would like to work with, and my answer has always been David Lynch. So that would probably be the answer to this question as well. I think he's got a catalogue of amazing films, and I'd love to sort of know more about how he did all those.
All right, that's a good answer. Thank you so much for the chat, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.